No, actually, no. Okay, wait a minute. Check this out. Okay, wait a minute. No. How about your girl was on YouTube and I was checking out this video on the Tao Te Ching. Like I said, I'm a student of Tao, studying the Tao, studying the Tao Te Ching. What is the Tao Te Ching? The Tao Te Ching is a book of 81 verses about nature, about life. And you can actually apply this to what's going on now. Interestingly enough, that video was talking about like following it was on the path it was on about following the path of least resistance and where that motto lands in the 81 verses. And in it they talk about verse 17. Verse 17, interestingly enough, talks about leaders. Now, when it comes to the Tao Te Ching was originally written in Chinese. There are many translations of it published. This is the translation that I picked up, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. But I'm sure if you Google it, put it in AI, put the verse number in there, it will give you a breakdown, a further breakdown. I encourage you to do further research on your own, please. So, verse 17 is all about leaders. Check this out. There are 4 types of leaders. The best leader is indistinguishable from the will of those who selected her. The best leader enjoys the love and praise of the people. The poor leader rules through cohesion and fear. And the worst leader is a tyrant, despised by the multitudes who are the victims of his power. Interesting. But those are the 4 leaders that the Tao Te Ching talks about. The Tao Te Ching further goes on, what a world of difference among these leaders. In the last 2 types, which is the poor and the tyrant, what is done is without sincerity or trust, only cohesion. The second type, there is a harmony between the leader and the people. The second type. Oh, that's the next best leader. Okay, and then the first type, whatever is done happens so naturally that no one presumes to take the credit. Why does that sound like dystopia to y'all? Why can't we all, in the words of your homie from back in the day, why can't we all just get along? Like that first leader, indistinguishable from the will of those who selected her. I'm surprised they put her and not him. I'm not surprised because in the yin yang, it feels like it's easier for the yang to move like that than the yin. But the yin can move like that easierly than the yin, but yet and still than the yang. Than the yang, but yet and still the yang can move like that too. But I'm not surprised they say her. I wonder is it her in the original translation. That'd be cool. The commentary here, interestingly enough, they point to some leaders that fit those 4 types. We are familiar with all these kinds of leaders except for the first type. In the early days of their revolution, that's crazy. We're familiar with all four of them. Wait a minute. Yeah, it said they're familiar with all kinds of leaders except for the first type. That's crazy. In our written history, we haven't had the first type of leader. And for real, if we have had, I feel like we've had that type of leader, but we haven't had it in written history, or they erased it. They erased it now. Let's keep it a buck. It's 2025. It's safe to say that a lot of our history books are lies. Let's just keep that a buck. But a leader that they talk about in verse 17, that first leader, that leader did exist. They either got scrubbed from history, or it was so far long ago it predates the history we got going on now. But for real, like I said before, our history books are tainted. Our history books are tainted. If you live here in America, the history books are tainted. Anybody who solidly believes that all of our history books is telling the straight out true, yeah, no. Only because of this verse right here. The commentary says that we don't have a written history of this type of leader. This type of leader that they will be walking around with leaders, like everybody would be a freaking leader, but that would be, like a lot of us say, a utopian or a dystopian world. But in a world where everything is in harmony, but what is harmony? So yeah,